Hey viewers and friends, Andrew back again and welcome to another video. And I'm finally getting around to doing my top 10 subgenre horror movies. If anyone watched my previous top 10 genre movies video that I did for Tyler, same sort of format as that. For that video I talked about 10 of my favourite genre films, so I gave an honourable mention and a all-time favourite for some of my favourite movie genres. I left out horror for the simple fact that it was pretty much impossible for me just to talk about two or pick two because I love horror so much, so I decided to do a separate video, so here it is here. Now there's a ton of different subgenres within horror, as I'm sure everyone is well aware of, so I haven't covered them all, but these are 10 of my favourites and 10 movies that I thought were worthy of me talking about for this video. So opinions change, as everyone knows, with these lists, but right now for this video these are what I decided to pick out. So I'll be working my way down from my least favourite, which is 10, right down to my all-time favourite subgenre of horror, which is at number 1. I won't be talking about any of the popular franchises or Halloween because I've talked about them all before. You know my opinions on them, especially what I think of Halloween, so they'll be left out. These are pretty much all original and individual films that I'll be talking about, so let's get started. So the genres or the subgenres I'll be covering in this video are horror anthologies, foreign, zombie films, creature features, haunted house films, low budget, modern horror, sci-fi horror, 80s horror, and of course slashers. So yeah, let's get into it. So starting at number 10, we'll be talking about horror anthologies. So honourable mention for horror anthologies goes to Tales from the Dark Side. I consider this to probably be the most underrated horror anthology out there. 3 short stories, all really good. This one's told by a small boy who's locked up in an old lady's kitchen. The old lady plans to cook him up, and he basically recites these 3 short stories to her. So really good, and as I said, I enjoyed all 3 stories. Favourite horror anthology goes to The Willies. Again, fairly underrated, not many people mention it, but I actually absolutely love it. There's 2 stories in this, so they're slightly longer. Sean Astin's in it, and this is told during a sleepover in a backyard. Sean Astin, who plays the older cousin, and there's 2 other brothers who are his cousins. They tell each other the stories on a camp out, so really good. Super cheesy, but yeah, I really enjoy The Willies. Alright, next up at 9th spot is foreign horror. This is a subgenre I've only really sort of delved into seriously lately, but I've got to say there is some bloody amazing stuff when it comes to foreign horror. So honourable mention goes to Deep Red. The amazing Giallo, my favourite Dario Argento film. Fantastic score, great characters, awesome storyline, and I really love the kill style in this. Very stylistic. Favourite modern horror, favourite foreign horror goes to Inside. This film is absolutely incredible. Anyone out there who is mildly interested in getting into foreign horror needs to check this one out. Just absolutely incredible. Okay, 8th spot we have zombie films. So honourable mention goes to Night of the Living Dead. This is the remake from Tom Savini. actually prefer it over the original. Yeah, I love the style of the zombies in this one, and great gore as well. Tom Savini did a brilliant job with this. And favourite zombie movie goes to Shaun of the Dead. Normally not big into comedy combined with horror, but they pulled this one off fantastically. So good zomcom. Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, they're hilarious. Probably, yeah, easily their best roles in this film. But yeah, absolutely love Shaun of the Dead. Okay, I think we're up to number 7, and it is creature features. So honourable mention goes to The Mist. This is a fantastic modern creature feature, Stephen King adaptation. Anyone out there who has a chance to check out the black and white version, I urge you to do so. I think it's makes the film better in my opinion. This is really, really, really good. Got sort of quite a sort of psychological thinking man's side to the storyline, I guess you'd say. You know, as the film goes on, the group in the supermarket, they divide, and you know, there's sort of religious undertones and some pretty heated discussions of really who's right and who's wrong, and who should be doing this, who should be doing that. And what an ending, one of the most thought-provoking endings in a horror movie that I've ever seen. So, The Mist. And favourite creature feature, very, very easy for me, goes to The Deadly Spawn. In my opinion, the perfect example of a great creature feature. This one's from the 80s, really, really cheesy, just a ton of fun, and great gore effects, really, really gory, and the creatures look awesome. So great low budget creature feature, The Deadly Spawn. Right, number 6 for horror subgenres is haunted houses. Honourable mention goes to Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Yes, this is a rather recent film, but easily one of my favourites, and it definitely stood out to me for this video. I thought it was so well done. The start of it is slow burning, but the second half of the movie pays off so well, absolutely brilliant. And the character, Sally, who was played by Bailey Madison, absolutely incredible. She is a very, very, very talented young actress. So yeah, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, amazing film. And my favourite haunted house film goes to The Changeling with George C. Scott. Not as creepy as it could have been, but fantastic storyline, and George C. Scott was absolutely amazing in this one. Okay, now we're down to my top 5 subgenres of horror, and sitting at number 5 goes to low budget. And honourable mention goes to The Evil Dead. I'm sure a lot of you were waiting for me to talk about this film. Well, now I'm about to. Not really going to talk too much about it. A lot of you know my opinions on the film. I've talked about it in several other videos of mine. Yeah, easily one of the best low budget films out there. So well done. Absolutely amazing film. But doesn't quite come close, in my opinion, to The Amazing Bad Taste. This is easily by far my favourite low budget film, or even micro budget movie. Absolutely incredible job from Peter Jackson. Again, I've talked about this film a lot, so I'm not really going to go into great detail in this video. However, if you are a big fan of low budget or micro budget films and you haven't seen Bad Taste, you need to, because it is one of the best. Alright, number 4 is modern horror. I know a lot of horror fans are a little bit iffy when it comes to modern stuff. I personally love modern horror and think there is a hell of a lot of fantastic horror when it comes to modern stuff, but these are the two that I'm going to pick, and honourable mention goes to 28 Days Later. Modern classic in my opinion. I love the whole isolated feeling about the film, especially at the start where the main character, he wakes up from the coma, he has no idea what's going on, he ventures outside and no one's around. So great sort of post-apocalyptic survival horror film, and I really enjoy those type of films. So 28 Days Later. And my pick for favourite modern horror, which was surprisingly easy, was Eden Lake. This movie has always stood out to me. It is very bleak and depressing in terms of the storyline. But yeah, has such a massive impact, and I just think it is so well done. Great performances from all of the cast. Very nasty, gritty and brutal, especially one scene involving a tyre and a burning. Whoa, very brutal and hard to watch, but Eden Lake is an excellent modern horror, and yeah, my favourite for this video. Okay, number 3, sci-fi horror. I love sci-fi and I love horror, so the two combined are fantastic to me. This again was fairly easy, although I was divided upon 3 movies, but Alien got knocked aside for these two. And honourable mention goes to Pandorum. This is one that I don't really hear too many people talk about, but I think it's a fantastic film. Got a very sort of psychological, thought-provoking theme running through it. Really creepy, some great atmosphere, and a really good cast as well. And the alien creatures in this look really good. They kind of remind me of the aliens from the Resistance games, but yeah, Pandorum. And my favourite sci-fi horror movie of all time, probably not a big surprise to most of you, is John Carpenter's The Thing. Again, don't really need to talk about this movie too much. It is a classic and I love it. Okay, my second favourite horror subgenre is 80s horror, and this was kind of hard but kind of easy at the same time, which kind of surprised me. But anyway, honourable mention goes to The Blob. This was a very recent viewing experience of mine, a couple of months ago I think now, and I absolutely love it. As soon as I started watching it, I knew that this would immediately skyrocket up into the top of my 80s horror list, and I just think it is fantastic. Great effects, some amazing kills, and it's got such a great 80s vibe to it. But it doesn't quite beat out this movie, The Monster Squad. Easily my favourite 80s horror film, and yeah, again, this has got such a great 80s vibe. And all of you know I'm such a big fan of The Goonies, and this is pretty much the horror equivalent of The Goonies, so really what more could I ask for? Alright, moving along, we're going to do this rather quickly. Favourite horror subgenre is slashers, and honourable mention goes to Hatchet 2. Again, I've talked about this movie a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it. But in terms of modern slashers, this is a favourite of mine, if not my favourite. Love it. And my favourite slasher of all time is The Burning. Again, not a lot needs to be said, I'm sure. Slasher fans understand why I've picked it as my favourite. Pretty much the perfect example of the genre. Okay guys, so that is this video. Feel free to do video responses talking about your top 10 subgenre horror movies, and thanks for watching.